Today's project is going to be for a PVC monitor mount to go above a couple existing monitors. So I've got the two main monitors set up and a very inexpensive touchpad for email. I'm going to put a third monitor right here angled down to be seen easier. I was given this old monitor from a friend of mine and it works fine. Ultimately I want to use this for some SDR stuff, which will be another video down the line. But the goal here with the PVC is to build a mount in the back that's going to come up, angle out, and then hang right there. The total cost for this is about $15, actually a little bit less than that. These were on clearance at the local Ace for $1.95 each. One is going to be used at the bottom of the 3-inch pipe. This will be screwed to the table, to the desk, and then the pipe will sit on top. The 45 will be up a fair amount, and then the rest of the 3-inch pipe will come forward and be attached to a piece of plywood to hold the back of the monitor. The other cap, drain pipe, is going to be put on the top. And I've got a speaker articulating mount idea that I'll get to in a little bit. Estimating these lengths, the bottom piece is about 6 or 7 inches long. That'll attach somewhere around that corner with that drain pipe screwed to the top of the desk. And this will come up here. This will be shortened quite a bit. I don't know how much yet. And then I'm going to build an articulating, adjustable mount out of some scraps so I can make that monitor not quite that raked. Pretty simple. For rough dimensions, the long piece is about 20 inches cut down. I bought a 2-foot section from the local hardware store for about $3.75, and then the smaller piece I had laying around, although probably would have been enough just to use the end of the other one, and the smaller one about 6.5 inches, and then just a regular 45. That's the base screwed in, just one screw in the center for now, so I can see how this lines up. That's just dry fitted. To give a rough idea of the angle. And again, I'm going to make some sort of adjustable mount for the back of that monitor. Here's my backing plate. This is the width of that 3-inch PVC. The next thing is to build some little blocks on either side with a pin going through it so this whole thing can move back and forth. It's kind of what this is going to be for. So get some adjustability. And these blocks have to be high enough so I can get the monitor away from that PVC so it's not hitting at the top. And another thing to keep in mind is these are the screws, the locations for attaching this to this. So obviously those blocks can't block it. It actually lines up just kind of luckily in a good spot because these screws are here. The blocks will go there and there, so I think we'll clear that. Just a little heads up or a little tip. This is nothing new, everybody knows this, but on the chance that someone is busy or forgets, if this is the length that you want, to make sure your kerf doesn't mess anything up, cut on the right of the line so your kerf doesn't pull things slightly off. There's the bracket that fits nice and loosely in there. Now this could be as simple as just drilling the hole through these 2x4s so that this can pivot back and forth. Then I was looking over the pile of junk that I've got, and the thought crossed my mind of putting these in, raising this up, and then putting this here. And then that gives us even more swing. I like lots of adjustability because you never know how these things are going to really line up. This was left over from the dock project a while ago. This would go through there, and then we'd have lots of room. And I would imagine that this would touch here, and that would keep this from going through. And then the nut with some washers on the other side can be used for some resistance. I don't know, just kind of thinking as I go. And this is just the way it looks on here. So I do think I want those extra brackets to give some more swing. I think. Just thinking along here. I don't know, maybe that would be enough at the top. Huh, take some more measurements. A quick way to get a template for where your screw holes are. Just lay a piece of paper across the top and then sketch across. It seems to be a whole lot more accurate than measuring stuff. I've used that for years. And there are our holes. I'm going to use the two here. I lost the screws for these. I think two will be okay there. If it's a little bit wobbly, I can find some more or head back to the hardware store. That paper then just gets taped to the top of the mount. You can see these two holes are right there, and that falls nicely between those two 2x4s. Doesn't usually work out that well. This is where we are so far. I just kind of eyeballed up, keeping this, you know, not too far out on either side, just kind of keeping this about as straight as I think it could look. And then instead of using those leftover brackets in the junk pile, I found a big bolt. So that's going to go through there. I have to do some countersinking to make this work. Use a bigger bit and a smaller bit to drill a hole, and that'll be nice and tight. And then we'll get that going next. The whole thing is solid. It's a very heavy mount. When this attaches to the base, I'll probably run a couple screws through here, maybe a bolt through here, as well as perhaps an L bracket on the back, just to give it a little bit more support. And if it's still a little bit tender, a support, kind of like a jack stand of sorts, could be put in place too. You can eyeball a straight drill if you don't have a real long bit by taking lots of looks from lots of different sides at 90-degree angles. So looking up top, this is pretty much at a 90. Looking here, it's pretty much at a 90. I've got my mark through there. The trick will be to transpose that to the other side. I need some longer drill bits. And another little trick is, my mark is there. Mark the vertical. Do two 90s, and then there's your spot. That's our bolt through. That is really straight. Need to countersink this, and then countersink a hole through there for the nut. Instead of making that countersink hole, there was enough on here just to tap this in, make this flush, and then I've got enough on that side for that nut. I could still dig that out a little bit. sometimes you need to true things up a little bit. So I took a quick little slice on the miter saw to make this clear, and I think this will work out pretty well. At this point we've got some nice easy swing here. And that's our current status right now. We've got some nice easy swing here. So when that bolt is winched down, it can be made nice and secure. And I always point out my mistakes. These two holes need to be up here, so I'll drill 2 more there. I still have that template. I'll probably throw some paint on this also to make this look a little better. Sometimes you need to make a lateral. When I was putting the monitor up top, I didn't like the way that it looked. It just wasn't hanging right. It looked really cluttered. I didn't like that. This is still relatively cluttered here, but it's much more useful, and I feel more confident with the way it sits. This monitor is going to be used for, as mentioned earlier, for SDR, for a software-defined radio. It's not going to need a lot of screen time. My main working monitors are the one in the center and the one on the right. And the way this is set up, this can articulate side to side. There's one bolt going through the center. So there's one bolt through there, so that disc will turn. It's just the drain underneath here, all glued up and permanently attached. I need to clean this all up, figure out another spot to put the pan of ice for the scanner. But for the moment, it's all level and it's pretty strong. And I threw obviously some quick paint on this. Painting PVC is very easy. Just get some Rust-Oleum or some vinyl paint and it sets up really fast. That's the finished look. I still need to get the computer upgraded with an additional graphics card because I can't run 3 monitors right now. So that will be the next project. Today was just building the mount and getting this thing set up. So that's all there. Always some things to clean up and finish off. I'm not thrilled with where that scanner sits, but as far as the mount for this additional monitor, I'm okay with that. Thanks for watching.